Oh, hey, I didn't know you were there. Just updated my Facebook status. Hey, I want to spend a couple of minutes with you to talk about football time in Dallas. You know, football time in Dallas is a very joyous time of the year. It's like when everyone gets together and become one. Well, I want to go back and talk about football as we know it in 1960. In 1960, the Dallas Cowboys was formed here, and also we had another team that was here as well. It was the Dallas Texans, not to be confused with the other Dallas Texans that were here in the 1950s. This Dallas Texan group was founded by Lamar Hunt, who also founded the AFL. And this is why I want to go ahead and tell you this is football time in Dallas. You know, football is a religion in Texas. And the Hunt family wanted to bring a football franchise to Texas, to Dallas in particular. And in this situation, what exactly happened was they petitioned William Wrigley, to move the Chicago Cardinals to Dallas. Yes, I didn't make a mistake. The Chicago Cardinals. Chicago had two football teams at that time. That team that they originally had was the Chicago Cardinals and the Chicago Bears. So in this particular instance, the Chicago Cardinals moved and became the St. Louis Cardinals. X'd out the scene. Try to get a football franchise. They wanted to go north. They didn't want to go south. And the reason why they didn't want to go south is because the Washington Redskins were the team of the South. There was no NFL teams south of the Mason border, the Mason-Dixon line. It was none. St. Louis became the first one, and then it was, well, like I said, the Dallas Cowboys. But meanwhile, what ended up happening was the AFL was created by Lamar Hunt, and he created the Dallas Texans. They played in the same spot where the Dallas Cowboys played at, which was the Cotton Bowl. Dallas Cowboys had an inferior team. The team wasn't good at all. Meanwhile, well, the Dallas Texans were a better team. From the time that they were here in Dallas, from 1960 to 1962, they had one of the best teams in the AFL, led by one of the best players in Dallas high school history. That was Abner Haynes of Lincoln High School, who later went to North Texas State University. And he, along with a gentleman by the name of Don Meredith, who was an all-state basketball player, a better basketball player than he was a football player. Well, Don Meredith was drafted number one in, I believe, 1961 by the Dallas Cowboys. He was drafted. He was one of the higher players in the draft that year. But in 1960, it was Abner Haynes. So let me go back again and just want to make sure this is correct to you. I may have misstated the year of Don Meredith being drafted, but I want to go ahead and state that they were the best football players in the state of Texas at that time. Abner Haynes should be in the NFL Hall of Fame. His yards are the same, statistically speaking, as Gale Sayers, and Gale Sayers is in the Hall of Fame as well. He compares comparatively with Gale Sayers. But what makes Abner Haynes a great ball player, and what makes him an excellent man, is his commitment to civil rights. And I'll talk about that in a minute. But first, let me say this about Abner Haynes. 1960, drafted by the Dallas Texans of the AFL. 1960 was the AFL Rookie of the Year. 1960 was the AFL MVP, Most Valuable Player. The league in 1960 was Abner Haynes' league. The man was incredible. In one game alone, he had 10 yards per carry. 10 yards per carry against the Denver Broncos at the Cotton Bowl. That is truly amazing. All-purpose yards, 4.5 yards per carry. Basically, if you gave the Abner the ball 3 different times in the series, well, Abner would go ahead and convert for you. Tremendous, tremendous football player. But the thing that really makes Abner really great to me, and you'll be able to hear it next week, we're going to be interviewing Abner. But what makes Abner great to me is what he did on the field and off the field. One of the things he did off the field was that they had an all-star game. an all-star game that was going to be in New Orleans, Louisiana. So they had this all-star game in New Orleans, Louisiana, and he moved. He was the spearhead of the revolt, if you will, or the boycott. All the black players decided because of the inferior treatment they were getting. It was wild stuff. The cab drivers wouldn't pick them up. They'd dump them off in the French Quarter if they did pick them up. They couldn't get hotel accommodations. They couldn't go into bars. They couldn't do none of that stuff. So Abner organized the football players, the black football players, and said, no, we're not even doing it. We're not playing the game. And this strike went along to the other football players as well, the white football players who said, look, we can't have an all-star game if we don't have any all-stars in it. So as a result of that, the league went ahead and moved the all-star game from New Orleans to Houston. You probably will hear more about this later. We are looking around to see if we can make a documentary about that. And we definitely want you to watch it. But I want to go ahead and close out with this. You know, it doesn't matter how many yards you get. It doesn't matter if you're remembered by the great masses. It's what you do to make a difference. Now, Mr. Haynes has made a difference. His family has made a lot of difference in religious circles in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. And he, too, has made a lot of changes as well. There's been plenty of football players who grew up under the tutelage of Mr. Abner Haynes. Mr. Abner Haynes is to the AFL what Jim Brown is to the NFL. A black man who stood against the power structure for the common good of us all. Stay tuned for more. I'm Ed Gray of the Commish Radio Show.